which I was going to do an update, but since my son, he was going to go back to school today, but they had no school because we had an ice storm overnight. So I decided let's do a little bit of a live here. He's got speech therapy today at about 12 p.m. So in about, I don't know, about 3 hours from now, 2.5 hours. So more than likely, I'll be doing an update around 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from his therapy. So I'll end up doing that. But I wanted to touch base here with XRP. I was just going to do my normal update, but I decided to do it in a live fashion because I feel like things are moving a little quickly here. And I think it'll be a lot easier for me to discuss this amongst the community instead of just putting it out in an update. And then, you know, if it takes us half hour to an hour, we can take a very close look at this. Sav, welcome in. Good evening or good morning. Tip, good morning. Set apart spirit, welcome in. Mark Caston, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Sav, I don't hate on you. You have your own, you know, everybody feels their own way about what's going on. Jeremy, good morning. QE, welcome in. Ring Thane, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months. Amanda, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army again. I really appreciate that. UK Phil, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Tom R, Jeremy, good evening, and thanks for hitting that like button, number 2. Taha, welcome in. Aura, go girl. Chevy, welcome. Newbie here. Let's go, Tom. You're on point with everything. What can XRP hit in the future, you think? We'll go over that. Joseph, welcome. And Joseph Kupiak, thank you for being in Tom's Army for, I know it's over your first month, but they seem to be frozen on YouTube right now for some reason. The Cannabis Podcast, Jorge, Mr. Mac, Mark Hazy, welcome in. Mr. Mac in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands Beds. David, welcome in. Swirlview, James, Sean Crothers, my main man from Maine, and a very trusted mod, welcome in. Ombre, good morning. We are so close, but it takes too long. It feels like the Cowboys at the last. Tom, what you thinking about XRP? Will it pump? February, will it dump? We'll take a look at the charts, and we'll see what it means to us. You know, we can only go over them. We can't 100% say for sure. I missed the technical analysis for yesterday. Did you post one on TikTok yesterday? I tried. I don't know if my live video post to do it, though. I did not do a short yesterday. I was taking care of my son. Wizard of Wager, welcome in. Mar Louise Willamese. Craig, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for... Well, all the metrics are messed up because I've seen people in Tom's Army for the same month for months and months and months. I don't know why YouTube's not updating them, but for some reason they're not. Dan, welcome in. Ombre, Patricia, Kyle Kupiak, welcome in. Cape Cod Kyle in the house. Not related to the other Kupiaks. Just exact same last name, ironically. Not late, HBAR TA, sir. We'll see how it goes. I was about to jump out of XP and put it all in Monero. XMR. I watched that actual crypto a lot. So let's get into this real quick. Let's get into this and see exactly what's going on. So we've got 3 things to look at with XRP. One, we've got in the XRP Bitcoin pairing, which is telling us that we may have bottomed versus Bitcoin. Now, that doesn't mean XRP's price can't go down, but what it means is in the symmetry with Bitcoin, it's possible because we have a golden cross, and this just isn't on the 1 hour, the 2 hour, the 4 hour, the daily. This is on the weekly time frame. So we're back testing on the weekly time frame a breakout of a very bullish consolidation. And if this holds, now, if it falls through here and we have some kind of quick dump through, I mean, that could be pretty brutal. But if it does hold the actual golden cross here at about that 183 level, that's where this could be big. This could be the start of something much bigger. And it would be a relatively quick surge because if this is pulling out, and it breaks back up, it's showing us a cup already. So if this is the backing now, and we are reversing back out, we back test, and then we come out, I mean, you're going to have a very big surge up. That's been building for a rather long time. This has been building since 2019, this cup. So this is not a small cup. This has been forming since 2019. And this is something that you can start to feel better about once you start back testing and have golden crosses in the higher time frame. a golden cross as far as the EMA line with the exponential moving averages. It's showing a short-term pattern reversal. The higher in the time frames you get, the higher of a reversal in the as far as the likelihood of the reversal actually continuing and actually playing out and switching bullish. This is the last step, basically. In this weekly time frame, you've back tested it. Now, if you can make a new high, and it could take days, weeks, even months for this to continue to consolidate out. But if we make a new high now, it's going to be very violent to the top side. And that 5110 is absolutely on deck if this ends up playing out. So that's one scenario to look at. We've got the golden cross that formed on the XRP Bitcoin pairing, which is absolutely peril. It's absolutely volatile, and it must be remembered. The second part of this is that the Bitcoin dominance chart right now, it's come up and topped if it's going to break down here because it's on a bearish pennant. We've been covering this bear pennant for quite some time, but I'm bringing it back in the spotlight because of exactly where it's at. So when you ask me, a lot of people always ask, hey, Tom, how do we know if it's alt season? Very key indicator right here. Resistance here in 2017, end of the bull market. Fell bearish. Bitcoin probably did its thing back up. So bear market, bull market for Bitcoin in the 19. We were topped again in Bitcoin in February. Altcoins did their damage leading into February, March, April, May. Consolidated a little bit. Then Bitcoin went absolutely parabolic here. For alt season to start, we need the Bitcoin dominance for this to be a top here at 64.62%. And then as it sleeks back down over the next 2, 4, 5 months in the dominance chart, back down to the 42 percentile, that's where alt season would take place. Now, if it breaks through here and we have an artificial push out, because there is an opportunity here for Bitcoin to fake everybody out and come up to 72%. If that happens, that's rough on altcoins. If this breaks down here, this should indicate alt season would be starting if we get the rejection here. So, first indicator, yes, we got the initial rejection, but if you take a look at it in the smaller time frames, we seem to be swinging around. Now, is this a swing around for a double top? Or is this a swing out to bring out? That is a lowered flag, however. When you start to see these kind of look like it's a trick, like it was a fake out to the top side, because now you come up and you've got so much space in here that it almost looks like a small bear flag has been put in. And if that's the case, it would inevitably, if this gets rejected, it could bring us back down here very quickly for a few percent and try to tap out. But we'll see. We'll see how this is. We need this to be a top here. And if this is a top, this is going to be a good indicator that alt season's close. But as we can see in the 4-hourly, it's swinging back around here rather quickly. And we'll see what kind of optics we have here. If this is a breakdown, a measured consolidation, are we building some kind of handle? You know, so that's what we need to see. That's what we need to see. So we're going to see some volatility. It looks like the Bitcoin dominance is going to go up just a tiny bit here to start the morning, which means altcoins are probably going to continue to trend down here, at least in the initial. For XRP, the key thing to remember is that we do have an exhaustion wick there. So as long as this holds, we have a range between $1.77, approximately $1.76. Yeah, let me go to the other chart, because this is the one that has the broadening wedge, which I really do believe that's what's going on. I haven't switched it in the other one just because I want everybody to see kind of how the pattern evolved, because we did have a pennant, a bullish pennant that broke out, and then now it's just kind of broken back together. Now, if I just take away all of this, I think it's pretty easy to see what's going on. You kind of take away all these measured movements, and you say, the hell with all of this. We know what these are. Let's just take a look at this in real time, like we showed yesterday, what actually developed. I think a broadening wedge developed, and I don't think that we need to be afraid of it. I think we just need to acknowledge that we're in a broadening wedge. We're coming up from the bullish dynamic, which means it should be a bullish consolidation. I've showed you the bearish broadening wedge when it's like coming in from a falling position. So basically you're falling like almost like a bear flag, and then it ends up broadening on it, and then it ends up being a bearish consolidation. These technically are supposed to be bullish consolidations, when they break out like this and then they end up pushing in these broadening wedges. So the best advice I can give you for a broadening wedge, we either break out and you get I mean, this would make for a very volatile swing, so we can show the updates from, because I believe this is a broadening wedge now, and it's showing us a broadening wedge. So unless it shows me something different, it's a broadening wedge. It's that simple. Now, maybe my analysis is off, but from what I'm seeing a broadening wedge here. And the ironic part is where does that broadening wedge take us? $5.49. $5.49. And that was the technical target out of the 7-year almost descending wedge. So, and I believe XRP hasn't finished wave 5. So until this finishes, until this happens, you know, I see a lot of people talking about Caleb and Brown. Can I be honest with you? They tried to do a sales pitch to me, and they wanted me to, for whatever reason, promote their exchange, which I refused. But they reached out to me for some reason through email, and like their platform has a built-in like 3 to 5% fee, so that you can get like financial advice from them, even if you don't want it. Even if you choose not to take it from them, you still have to pay that fee. I would never encourage anybody to use Caleb and Brown. No offense, but they charge in a locked-in 3 to 5% fee, so you can use them basically as a almost a financial advisor asset management, like some kind of asset management, which it's not necessary in crypto. It's not necessary in crypto. That's a scam. You don't want to be paying them over the top like that to be your asset managers. I'm just saying. I tried to look at that exchange after they reached out to me, and it did not rub me the right way. Just to be honest with everybody. So that's why I've never talked about it. I'm not going to pay a 3 to 5% fee for somebody to be my kind of advisor on there when I'm making all the trades. Like, that doesn't even seem right to me. So just pay attention to the optics behind some of these exchanges. That just doesn't rub me the right way, if I'm being honest. It's the only reason I never talk about it. They do have quite a bit of cryptos, but I just don't like when somebody's going to charge me an asset management fee for me being my own trader. Did you take my phone?
By accident.
Yeah.
I apologize.
It's okay. I took my old one. I'm just finishing this live. No, you're fine. I put yours up there. How'd it go?
I realized what I pulled out of my pocket.
I figured you took it.
I was going to call you.
How'd it go?
But I was like, I don't have Wi-Fi.
It's okay.
It was okay. Arthritis.
Nothing more than I do.
Sounds like arthritis.
Okay. So with this broadening wedge though, the breakout target puts us right to our target of $5.49 out of the 7-year descending wedge. That's the target. Now, when I looked at this and I seen this, I'm like, you know, I hope that this breaks out, not down, because if it breaks down, remember those long nights we had long ago? And I don't think it's going to break down and do this, but remember those long times that we used to talk about the all-time uptrend, and possibly worst case scenario, we come down to 2 cents. Now, if this broke down in the worst possible scenario here, you could see you got 2 optics here. One of them has us going up to $5.49, which I like, because that is almost like, yeah, the no tax on crypto is going to be like how I tell you guys to get the crypto.com debit card and buy your stuff from your crypto. That's what I'm talking about. That's going to be a way that you're going to be able to avoid the tax in the future, I believe, is if you're paying for your purchases with your actual crypto. Even if you have to sell it into a crypto Visa debit card account because you're selling it for purchase, that's something that we're probably going to have to do in the future. But I don't know. We haven't heard nothing from Trump about the tax regards. Anyhow, I don't care about any of the political side right now. I only care about what I'm seeing on the chart. So that's the breakdown, what it's saying. And the fact that it points to the all-time uptrend, if we were to have a catastrophic collapse, that's why I keep these charts out here the way I do. Assuming we had a catastrophic collapse, You know, we might find ourselves in that kind of a scenario. But that's going to have to be, oh my God, like this entire market broke down. But still, I see a topping reversal here if this does continue to break down. We talked about taking the elevator up, taking the stairs down. Bitcoin maxis think they're going to 90% dominance. My friend, can I tell you why they think that? I showed it in the charts. So before you make fun of the Bitcoin maxi, make sure you pay attention to this. If the Bitcoin dominant chart does not break down out of a bear pennant and it breaks out, they're going above 90. Easy. If that, and I put this all the way back in 2020, 2030. If it broke back or broke out in 2030 instead of breaking down, you're talking about 96% dominant. But the bearish pennant suggests that that's a bearish formation. I put this line here only because it does look like we could get some symmetry up there and complete a short-term pattern consolidation, which is almost like a small cup. And if that happens, that means I put this perspective out there. If 73% of all money is going into Bitcoin, right now about 61% of all money is going into Bitcoin, and you see the transparency of how it all slips into Bitcoin rather quickly. So the Bitcoin maxis, they're not off their gall if it were to break out, but because it's a bear pennant, it's going to be far-fetched. But I've seen them many times break out of bearish pennants and end up going bullish. Just like I've seen bullish pennants break down bearish many times. It's only a 70% probability that it breaks down. That means 30 times out of 100, this pattern breaks out, even though it looks bearish. And if they break out, they usually break out somewhere around 70% of the move. I don't know if we're exactly at 70% of the move, but we'll see. So that's what I wanted to main reason I wanted to come live here was to show the fact that the Bitcoin dominance chart looks one way. The XRP Bitcoin dominant, or the XRP Bitcoin pair, is showing us something completely similar. So Bitcoin dominance is showing a topping area, and the XRP Bitcoin pairing is showing a bottoming area, which is a golden cross here in the weekly as it back tested. So I heard you should put your profits into Bitcoin. That's, to me, that's the dumbest thing one could do, but hey, to each their own. I don't like Bitcoin. It's a trash protocol. It's trash technology. It's like if I have the PS5, it's on PS1 version right now. Like, that's what I mean. Like, why would you buy a PS1 if you want the updated PS5 and think you're going to get the same outcome? It's not going to happen. The Bitcoin to me is, you guys ever remember like how we had LimeWire and Kaza and all those stupid things where it was free, it was open, and then all of a sudden the monopolies came in and now we have Netflix and Hulu and all this other trash that we used to get for free from like LimeWire and all that stuff. Right? You guys following me if you're old enough? If you grew up with me in the 80s and, well, I was a kid in but if you grew up in the 90s and like your early adult life, you know, in your mid-teens, early teens. So that's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin's like the test net. That's it. And I know it. Like, that's the only reason they push it so much. And it's bonkers what we're doing right now. You're really going to take something that's worse, that costs more, and is slower to be your global dominance if it comes to some kind of real world money or digital asset. You're going to really use Bitcoin that takes forever and it costs me an arm and a leg just to send it, compared to something like, I don't know, XRP that costs me less than a penny to send as much as I want and it takes seconds. Napster, oh yeah, Napster, yep, that's one of them back in the day, for sure. But they all played off of each other. Yes, I like that analogy. Bitcoin equals VHS. Or Bitcoin is dial-up and the rest of them are wireless. You know, Bitcoin's like the dial-up of the wireless universe. Now, like, when we're in a digital world, Bitcoin's analog is the way I look at it. So if we're in a digital world, Bitcoin is like you remember the Nokia phones where it would dial back and forth and it'd be like beep, beep, and it was kind of like a walkie-talkie. And then all of a sudden you got the new cell phones that were flip cases and you're like, well, I don't want that stupid thing. Then you got the iPhones And then you got the Samsung, like the Galaxies and stuff that made the iPhones look like trash because the iPhone started using the Samsung stuff. But the iPhone Maxi still don't understand that the 90% of that phone's the Samsung Galaxy. And that's why it takes 2 to 5 years to get the technology that the Samsungs have on the iPhone. That's why, because they're all using the same stuff, just crossing you up with different wording. It's the same thing here. Buy Bitcoin, even though it's the slowest, biggest pile of shit in crypto. But this is going to be our world reserve. Makes sense. I used to love Nextel. Loved it. So, I mean, it's, buy something nice for yourself with profits you've been actually needing, like Tom did to his house, makes more money later on, still for real, for sure thing. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I did. When we got to the top of this cycle, XRP was around 340. And I know it was a little, yeah, about 340. When it was up in that part of the cycle, I talked about taking a major profit on a lot of things. And that didn't mean I don't have a lot, because I still have a lot, and I was able to buy into some more on big drops on things that actually went below bear market levels. But I did. I paid for my kitchen. I paid for a remodel on my windows. Well, remodel my kitchen, new windows. The windows are being put in on the 12th. And then my kitchen's being remodeled in March. But I paid 1/3 on each. But it's all in cash. I have the cash value now. And it's on, that's my crypto.com account I always talk about, because I have it on the crypto Visa debit card. But I'm trying to utilize this market. I'm trying to utilize this market, and don't think I don't have a lot in crypto. I have a ton in crypto. It's just, I know I'm smart. I know when to take profits. I know how to do things. Most of my stuff I bought was either 7 to 10x lower. So you got to be smart with it. You got to be smart with it. You love Nextel until you got that $700 a month payment. Remember when the contracts was not unlimited and people didn't understand how much they're being... Yes and no, but the Nextel, it was always free to do the speaker, the back and forth, like the beep beep, and then you would talk through it instead of actually doing a phone dial. That was free. That was the big part of Nextel, and I only know that because my stepdad at the time was an over-the-road trucker, and you could literally go back and forth as much as you wanted like that, and you wouldn't get charged. So, why don't I put AMMs above my pay grade? I do too much stuff for free to be pushing a whole line of another pool. I basically do all of this for free until somebody wants to donate or joins Tom's Army. It already takes so much of my time when I talk about utility, the ISO, precious metals, commodities. I don't got time to talk about that. I mean, if I sprung this off into something else, but like literally, we've already been talking 22 minutes and we've covered nothing except for the stuff that I think's important so far. But as far as the charts, we haven't even dug into it. So with that being said, good morning. I don't think I did the intro, did I? I'm just saying, okay, no intro. I didn't think so. So, what platform do I use for commodity trading? All right, there's several you can use. And the crazy thing is, if you have a crypto.com account, you can use that, but I don't use it for the stock market. They just involved that in January, so you can do the full stock market on crypto.com now as well. I just don't like to tie my crypto in with stocks, so I use the JP Morgan trading app. Only because I have a Chase account. So instead of having my money in the bank, I like to put it into investments. If I have any liquid cash like that, that has to be in some kind of setting like that. So I use a JP Morgan trading account. And right now, and I'll do the intro on a sec, in that account, I've got about $3,500 in the iSilver Trust, which I have a lot of physical silver, but I like to balance out my holdings. So I don't like paper silver, but because of my holdings, I have, what do I have? 725 Fortuna silver mines. I believe 700 First Majestic, 3,222 B2 gold, and a couple hundred of Barrick gold. So that's what I have in my JP Morgan trading account. I don't trade the stock market per se. I use the stock market for commodities. I don't like trading the stock market. I think it's too manipulated. Snowing here. Yeah, it was snowing here too. I mean, this backdrop. It's a pretty nice imitation of what's going on at my house, but we had a nice ice storm yesterday, so the kids' schools were closed today. There's a sheet of ice on the ground. We got to go to therapy at 12 for my son, but that should be okay. But yeah, as far as this goes, let me do the intro and then we'll continue to discuss this. And I would love to know in the comments if you guys think that's a broadening wedge. There's 303 people here. 130 of you have hit that like button. I would love to know. I would love to know. So good morning. 10:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, February 6th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So we're at the back end of this live now because I've got to go at about just before 12. We've got to get my son to physical therapy or speech food. Wait a minute, what's today? Speech therapy today because it's Thursday. So, but I'm gonna have I'm gonna do an update today as long as there's a free conference room there, which there should be today at 12 or 12:15. I'm gonna do another update where we go a little bit more into these charts. I charge 1 XCN for my like. Laugh out loud. I kid. Hey, I kid. Wouldn't that kind of be like me saying I charge 10 XRP to do the analysis, or I charge 50 XCN just to look at it? But I hear you. Good morning, friend. Something about XCN runs me wrong. Hey, XCN's got its whole backstory. Make the money while it's there, but be observant to what's around the corner kind of thing. I don't disagree with you. I show this chart for a reason, not because I have to, but because I want to keep everybody informed. It's done exactly what we've talked about the entire way. We've even liquidated out in a fashion that we needed to. You want to be on the top side of this. Otherwise, this could break down substantially. And it could come back into this uptrend area, which it did. So I would start to look at this uptrend needing to hold for XCN. You find yourself below this, you could start building this topping reversal, which it might have already started. You're having bearish crosses here in the 2 hour now. Anti-communist, I can't even look at Luna Classic. I will not give, no offense to you, my friend, because I love you to death. But Luna, after what they did to their community, and they literally, if you had any money in the old Terra, remember the old Luna, or the UT, the Terra stablecoin, which I called the year before that they were going to whitewash everybody and go to zero. They literally delisted that, wiped out everybody's money, and brought it back as Luna Classic. Like, that is not, that'd be like XRP literally taking all of our holdings, going to zero. We lose it all, right? We have millions of dollars invested in retail, and I have $50,000, right? Let's say I have $50,000 in Terra UT. Well, in this case, they went to zero, took everybody's money, and then they came back as Terra 2 or Terra Luna. You can't make this stuff up. After they wiped out everybody at the UT stablecoin, which was the Terra Luna, it was the UT, which was Terra, their ecosystem, they had a Terra stablecoin. And they robbed everybody blind. So that would be the same thing as XRP going to XRP XL. Everybody who owns XRP is wiped out. But now they come back with a new coin, new token called XRP XL. And everything's just supposed to be okay. I would never invest in that, nor XRP ecosystem ever again if that was the case. If they ever did that to me, I'd be out. There is no second chances. Because whose fault is it going to be when Terra Classic does the same thing to everybody? You can't teach a new dog or an old dog new tricks, and Terra is Terra. James, that would make you very smart. XRP, HBAR and ALGO, I dare say that you hit the 3 peaks of the valley right there. If I'm being honest. HBAR is being widely adopted by the government across the world, governments. Same with XRP. And then ALGO, do I even need to say anymore? It's 10x undervalued right now. Easily 10x undervalued. So you could see nothing wrong there. But with XCN, just pay attention to the setup. It's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. Right now, you're on the bottom side of Shitsville, and you don't want to be there. You want to be on the top side because you're technically filling out this downtrending resistance, uptrending support, and does it break out or break down first? That's all you need to know. The old uptrend followed by the new downtrend. What meets first? You want to be on the top side of these uptrends? So it is. It's one of those things. What comes first? What? Oh. She's talking to the ghost. All right, let's go through some of our lists real quick. We've seen XRP. We've seen the XRP Bitcoin pairing. We've seen the Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin is still very much inside of a bullish setup. It broke outside of a symmetrical triangle. It's got a cup and handle. It's working on the handle still. And unless it gave back 94,000 and couldn't bounce back up like it did here, this pattern's still super bullish. And once it breaks 114K, it should, or once it breaks this formation, first target would be 114K, followed by that 122,000, which is the cycle top, if you look at the cup and handle breakout from the very beginning. This is just a short-term cup and handle that formed, which is actually just a handle. It's a breakout of the actual handle on a bigger cup. So that's all we're working on for Bitcoin still. This has been playing out for a very long time. We had the cup that went all the way back to 2021. It took all the way until 2024 in April for it to finish. And now it built the handle out all the way until November of last year. And now it broke out, formed a broadening wedge, but then created a symmetrical triangle within, broke out of the symmetrical triangle. I don't know if that's a cup and handle. Looks pretty wonky. What do you mean? What do you mean? Which part of it? The obvious cup and handle that goes on for many years? Or the very top? Because the cup and handle, it may very well go bad because that could turn into an M-topping reversal. Yeah, but that's a breakout of a symmetrical triangle, and it looks like to me a cup. It formed a handle. I don't know why it's wonky. Just out of curiosity, why is it wonky? Maybe it doesn't pan out, but you started here, you dropped around, formed a cup, you're building a handle. And now if it breaks out, you're coming way up here. If it breaks down, it's the end of the pattern to 74. I'm just curious what's wrong with it. It's just a smaller representation. Tariffs in China. Listen, guys, with the tariffs, can I be honest with you? We need to smarten up with tariffs. Do you know what a tariff actually means? If we make a tariff, a 25% tariff on Canada, that doesn't affect Canada, okay? If we make a 20% tariff on China, it doesn't affect China. They couldn't give a rat's ass. They actually are smiling and laughing. Their government is laughing at us. The only reason why they would retaliate and make a tariff against us is because they want to tax their own people. When you make a tariff, the only people affected are the country that are receiving your export. Or the person who's giving the export. Like, I'm getting imports from Canada, but we're making it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's why I keep saying that might be a cup and handle, but if it's not, that's a topping reversal. This could turn into a topping reversal. The smaller cup interpreted as a possible reverse head and shoulders forming, but I'm not an expert here, so I'm trying to assume. No, yeah, it could be an inverse head and shoulders right here. We've talked about that as well, but I'm trying to play it out in the simplicity part of this. If you start looking at this at an inverse head and shoulder, it's already technically come down a little far here, hit it here. But if you look at it as the patterns evolved, it's a clear symmetrical triangle, clear handle trying to form. Now, if it breaks down, we go to 74. If it breaks out, we go to 122. It's the best way I can tell you, because you're going to drop a lot farther than you're going to rise if this breaks down, because then it could be the end. Huh? Yeah. But here's the point, the tariffs. So if Trump puts a 25% tariff on Canada, let's say, well, who do you think's paying for these prices? If Canada has to bring it over and it's 25% more expensive for them to ship it to the USA, are their citizens paying for it, or Are the prices going to be a little bit higher, 25% higher for the U.S. citizens to buy? If you said B, you're correct. When Canada came back and said they're going to impose their own tariffs, all they were doing was imposing a tax on their own citizen. Had they have done nothing, the U.S. citizens would be paying the tax and Canadians would be fine. That's the misinterpretation. They're putting us all against each other because they know we're ignorant and are uneducated. Because we've been taught by the school systems. That makes us uneducated. Sorry, the longer you've been in college, the less educated you are. The more people that are doctors and lawyers, the less they know because they're not taught the real... They're only taught what the program wants them to know. But anyhow, how controlled are you? How it's just that much. BITUNIX won't work in Florida, second choice. Why not? BITUNIX is worldwide. It has papers in the USA. There's no reason it shouldn't work in Florida, honestly. That's news to me. I'll have to find out. I got a hold of this crazy ride. No, I have no... Yeah, I just typed XRP on YouTube to find a live channel to cope with XRP dipping in at $2.60 for 8.45. I got a hold for this crazy ride. You found a good station here, but unfortunately you might not like me because I tell the truth about what's going on. Right now we have this exhaustion wick if it holds, and it's breaking into a falling channel here somewhat, so which means our floor right now is $1.76. We cannot afford for that to break. With what we're seeing, the monthly fair value gap is held around $1.82, which is a good sign. We're also seeing, which is a good sign, the XRP Bitcoin pairing is bottoming to Bitcoin. That doesn't mean it can't trickle down because in this actual formation, in the weekly time frame, our floor is lower. So when people are asking me, Tom, why is this low? Why is it going down? Because you haven't. If this is an exhaustion wick, you're going to fill some of it out. That's how you trap. Now, we still have to break down the fact that we knew this was a bearish weekly, but now this could very well be forming a hammer candle here. If this is a bull hammer here, and we're not going to know until Sunday, and that's why we have volatility in between up and down, left and right. But if this ends up filling out, and these do end up as bull hammers, it's going to be crazy. You tell your biased truth. Stop it. Thank you for your input, Matthew. If you interpret it as biased, you're going to lose a lot of money because I am anything but biased. I didn't make the portfolio, or I'm not able to do this because I'm biased, my friend. I would take that emotional front out of your thinking. But if that's the way you view it, you're probably in the wrong community. I've made a living off of being truthful, and that's why I don't have to go do a real job, friend. Because I understand the markets, I can live off the markets. I've been doing this for years before I started YouTube, friend. Yeah, but I'm not going to a 9 to 5. I'm making my own. I made my own self. So, I mean, if you want to be self-sufficient, go for it. If you want to think everybody's a conspirator, you're not going to get ahead. And to be honest with you, your statement it's not untrue. You say that, you know, I'm speaking my own truth. Well, I don't know who else I would be speaking. This is my own interpretation. That is true. So, you know, but you can go to any other station and go see their interpretation, see where it gets you. I'm just trying to show you what I do and what I see before it happens. And then you can make an educated decision. You can make a decision here now from my own bias, right? From my own bias. But I just simply told you the truth about tariffs. If you don't believe you're paying for it when we put a tariff on Canada, you're uneducated. That doesn't make me my own history. That just makes you not aware. But like I always say, the person who knows things is going to look like an idiot to most, because when somebody's uneducated, they're going to look like somebody who knows it, like they're an idiot. That's the masses for you. You just explained human civilization. The person who actually knows what's going on looks like an asshole. That's not news to me. It's been happening to me since I was 12 years old. I'm 41 now. It's always a conspiracy, isn't it? If you don't know what's going on, it's always a conspiracy. It's always something that's not. But are we seeing what's going on here? The consumer always gets killed. So if we put a tariff on another country, That country's not getting killed. The person consuming it is, not the person exporting it. We need to wisen up in the United States. I fear that the United States is the dumbest people in the world. And I live in the United States. So what does that say about us? Algo. It's not even a question to me whether Algo or HBAR has more potential. It's Algo. Now, I mean, theoretically, HBAR could outperform, but I just think as of right now, I like in positioning of where we're at and where we've been, I think Algo. There are a lot of shorts at 290-ish. It will probably return there, but not before pain. It actually is going to return a little bit higher than that, but the question is when, where, and how. When, where, and how. And where, how do we get there? There's massive, like if you guys want to talk liquidity, oh, I'm the liquidity king. I can show you exactly what's going on in the monthly with XRP. You won't even believe what, we've never seen this before in this regard. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So we've taken out it all below. Remember all these hundreds of billions? We had like 3, 4, 500 billion in sections down here. Took it all out. What we didn't take out is up here. Well, it was like 2, 3, 400 at the most down here. I think we can see some of it here. See 5. Oh, and there was a 516 at $2.30. But we took all that out. Now look above us. Once you get up to 3, and I don't know, the 298 is nothing. That's not even a significant area to me. The 290s mean nothing. There's not enough liquidity. Oh yeah, we have great Sir Dinkus, we have a great community in chat. But I appreciate you're only subbing to my channel because there's people in chat. That's part of building a good community. You might not like the influencer, but as long as the chat looks good and you can get some honesty there, you know, that'll work for me. But anyhow, the $3, I would say the most significant area to start here, and it goes up quite a way. I know $3.23, there's over 500 billion in liquidation. I'd say $3.23 is the first real area of substantial significance. $3.23. Bingo, Brian. That's what I've been trying to say for quite some time. Algo hasn't even started the breakout of its flag pole. Same with XLM, but XRP's already about midway up. Just like HBAR, XDC, they're all midway up their flagpole already. The chat is absolutely all-inclusive. I need the copium from other randos, no offense, but the traders all say different stuff. That's fair enough. Honestly, that's fair enough. You know why, Sir Dinkus? Because that's what I face every single day. I have to be compared to other influencers. You'll find very quickly that I've been doing this since 2021. I called a market before we had a massive rally in 21. I called the market top in 21. I also called the market bottom in 23. And I can tell you that unequivocally because we bought before the rally in 21. We sold at $1.66 on XRP. We bought back, not again until it was at 28 cents, sold at 44, rebought at 34, and are still holding. That's the best part of this. You're not going to know it for months, but I am the only person telling the truth in this space. I don't do any sponsorships. I don't take any kind of, I don't make anybody pay for anything to get any information. Can you call the bull run this year, Tom? I need some hope. You're in a bull run with XRP. You're already in a bull run for XRP. I don't know what you mean. We're in a full-fledged bull market for XRP right now. And I did call the bull market. I said once it got over $1.35, it was a bull market. And we're going to all-time highs. Which is awesome. And that's exactly what happened. I said you could start talking about a bull market at $1.18 because remember the cup and handle we had for ever since last year, the cup. And then we had the ridiculous pattern all the way up. That's already filled out now until we get to that next layer. We're only completed 4 waves here. So until wave 5 completes or they literally chop our nuts off, I'm not willing to call it a day because we got to finish the 5 waves. Oh, you weren't here then. Excellent. Guys, we're not even dipping, but this is part of the consolidation. Why are we dipping? Oh, I don't know, because we came up from 45 cents 3 months ago. Why are we at $2.40 or $2.35 now and not 45 cents like we were for 5 years or 3 years? We just went up fucking 10x. Relax. That's the good news here, folks. You got to be patient. What does that look like is building right now? Does that look like a bearish consolidation, or does that look like a falling channel forming right in front of our very eyes after the little push up? Because there's no liquidity down here. There's nothing. The short traders right now think they're feasting. But I'm telling you right now, remember when it came up here and we're like, oh, there's got to be this liquidity up here, and then we seen this down here, we're like, oh, shit. Now we're going to have to deviate and come down here first before we come up here because it makes more sense. Because they're not going to go up here and risk the chance of breaking out with leaving downside liquidity. And we said they're going to take out all of this before we break out. And if they take it all out and we hold, there's only one way to go, is up. Well, that doesn't mean you don't backtest the exhaustion wick. That's an exhaustion wick if it's meant to be the bottom. Which means now we've got to climb back down to a certain standpoint where we created some gaps here. And I would say, I mean, you could technically come all the way back down to $1.77. Same thing I said yesterday. But I would be damned to say, you're going to tell me they're not going to come to $3.23 and take that $529 billion? You're going to tell me they're not going to come up here and take these several $1 trillion when you get up near three? Look at this. There's no way. I'm sorry. I've never known a market manipulator to let short traders feast like that. Especially when you're in a moment where wave 5 still hasn't complied. Unless this is the ultimate, let's take technicals and fuck everybody, which is possible because they've done it in the past. They take the technical setups and then they use it against you. And then they later revisit those areas. I think this liquidation map told us it all before it even happened. And it's trying to tell us again if we just listen. We just need to listen. That's it. We just need to listen. We'll go... And I can't go to something else without looking at Bitcoins. Bitcoins is a little different. Because this is where we talk about, are we going into alt season or not right now? Like, are we going into a Bitcoin dominance breakdown, or are we going to a breakout? No. If you're saying you're out at $3.15, you'd be naive to not wait until they take that liquidity at $3.40. I'm just here to be your friend. I'm not trying to be your foe. But if you're waiting for $3.15, you got to do it right. Don't stop at $3.15. If they're taking that liquidity out and going that way, they got to take out $3.40, probably $3.50, because from $3.40 to $3.50, I think it's like $2 trillion, if not more. If you stop at $3.13, I think you leave like $8 trillion on the board, maybe more. It's crazy how much is up there. I've never really had to speak in these terms with XRP with that much liquidity sitting around all-time highs. It's just crazy. But I don't mind you saying $3.15 to start layering out. Or hell, you know what? What am I talking about? That's your money. If you're comfortable at selling at $3.15, beautiful. I don't know if you were here at 34 cents where we bought it this last time, but that's essentially a 10x or 9x from there. My target for wave 5 is $5.49. It's been the same target since before this ever broke out. We had a descending wedge. What is my profit? Well, when I started in this community, I had about $4,000 in crypto. Now it's over 6 figures. If you want to know the truth. When I started in this community, we've had some it's been big run. And I have shown the portfolio, so it's not. Oh, what is I thought you said what's my profit. Some people ask, they want to know how this community's moved. No, I said what is profit, not what is profit? Oh, so okay. So let's say you spent $1,000. You bought XRP at 35 cents. No, forget that. You bought XRP at $1.40. Or dollar, what's the price right now? Because I want it to be a 1x. It's $2.34. So let's say you bought XRP at $1.17. You spent $1,000. Right now you've got $2,000. So the profit would be $1,000. The initial $1,000 is just your investment. So you allocated $1,000 to invest in XRP. Now it's worth $2,000. So you'd have a profit margin right now of $1,000. Understand if you sell that, you pay taxes on the profit margin unless they do something different, which Trump has promised, but we'll see. Because in crypto, I haven't seen profit yet, so I was making a joke. Oh! I'm 95% ignorant sometimes, so that's me being, here's your sign moment. I had an here's your sign moment because I could not read between the lines, but that actually does make sense. Well, here's the thing. I don't know when wave 5 is going to end because is this a 3-wave correction we're still in right now? And there's always the ABC correction within each of the mid-tier waves. So I don't know when it's going to end. To give it, the reason that most traders don't give a timeline is because you can't. Anybody who gives a timeline is wrong. They don't know. The only reason we gave a timeline, for anybody who's new, we had this descending wedge up for years. And you know what's great? Where's my phone? Somebody sent me, and I'm going to share this with everybody. Somebody sent me something that we put out a long time ago, and they followed it for years. Like, literally for years. And when you start to see it, it's pretty incredible. I don't know if I have my Telegram on here, because I don't think I do on here, no. So, this pattern, I always say, oh, it's been out here forever. And we've had this set up forever, but some people are like, oh, you know, I don't think he has. I think he's just saying it. And the cool thing is that somebody shared this exact chart from years ago that I've had out here. And you should see the way it looked years ago. And we're just how we had to fill this out. And seeing that somebody actually paid attention to this and actually felt the need to share it to me, it made me very happy. Made me very happy. But the target, I don't know how long it's going to take, but the target's been set in stone for a long time. I didn't just come up with these numbers, but to build a history with some of the new people, you're going to have to see this. How it looked before we filled it out. So I just saved that. I need to send it to my email from here. So share, Gmail. And you're going to know it's my chart because it looks exactly like my chart. You can't imitate my chart and act like it's not. All right, so it's sending right now. But we've built this, so when we were trying to say a timetable, it's hard. So for anybody who's been here for any length of time, this was our chart back in 2022. And I used to have different indicators back at the time, but we had charts way back then. And we talked about how this would have to go all the way out to the descending wedge in 2024. And that could be a breakout area. But that's what we had to fill out all the way back then. So that's how empty this chart was until we filled out. And it's not because it was just empty. We have 3 different charts for a reason. So let's play the history and try to figure out how long it's going to take. So we had the cup and handle pattern that took forever. And this is the one where we had to sit here forever as a community. We talked about this forever. We were stuck in this cup and handle right here. We were in a rising channel that had to break down because rising channels are bearish. It came out, formed a nice handle. We broke out, yada, 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 so on and so forth. But that happened after the 2023, and we had that very volatile swing up. Then everybody got very bearish and thought it was over, but it was just building the handle. So if you take it out a little bit farther, we had the descending wedge that you've seen in that picture, and it's just evolved over time. It finally filled out. It took all the way, and I was pointing to December of 2024 for 4 years almost, since I started on YouTube as the breakout point. Once we got this rejection, that's all we needed to know. Then it just started playing on it all the way through, and it took out, well, that target out of here, and I know in the weekly it's going to look weird, but the target was $5.49. That's been the target since this started. We had that target before we ever even were close to breaking out. And I used to tell my audience, this is going to look crazy. I'm going to look like an idiot until it actually happens. And now it's happening, but we drew this. Oh, I did it in the XRP market cap though. But we drew the big W on the XRP market cap a long time ago. And this has been out like this for a long time. We talked about how stupid it's going to look, but XRP would be up at that $3 and 40 something cents. And then it would create that all-time W. And then the technical target, the highest it could possibly go in this cycle is $6.79. That's the highest it could possibly go if it creates the inevitable cup that hasn't been formed in the well, it has now, and then the handle that is already forming now. On the whole, I mean, this is the all-time chart. So then if you're looking, see how XRP has the flag, the pole that broke out, and now we had a breakout into an inverted hammer, broke out, came back down, but kind of looks like a bull hammer could be forming in the all-time chart. That's where XRP's moved out of the pole. You technically should move the entire length of that pole after the breakout. Now, when people ask me what's the better deal, you look at XLM and assuming this breaks out, XLM is not broken out of the pole yet, which means there's a lot more potential on XLM from this point than XRP. It hasn't broke out of the pole yet. Now, this could all be a fake out, and maybe it breaks down and this was just a big kick in the nuts. You can never look past that. But that hasn't broke out. So to me, more upside potential in the short term likely for XLM over XRP. Then you look at ALGO. ALGO, not broken out of the pole, but is this a scenario where this is all bullshit and we just break down? We don't know. We had an inverted hammer, and now what I think could possibly be setting a bull hammer here, but we'll see. We'll find this out very soon here. We'll find this out very soon. But Jedi, be careful about that feeling, though. He doesn't need it to go up now. They came out with how many meme tokens? I told you, all that's off the table with, oh, Trump's going to get rich off of crypto, so he needs it to go up. That's all off the table the moment he had the Trump token, Melania token, Eric Trump token, the Baron token, and all of the other Trump tokens that came out and whitewashed crypto utility, which is what it did, what it was designed for. Already made bank. Don't need no more. They have 80% of the Trump token. The Trump token went from like $4 to 78, and now it's back down under 17. Made plenty of money there. Retail got hosed. It's the way it goes. That's why you don't buy meme tokens. But that took money directly out of utility. This isn't me having post-Trump traumatic syndrome or whatever the hell everybody calls it, TDS, because the only time I think of TDS is touchdowns. Trump derangement syndrome is a figment of everybody's imagination, just like it's just because somebody likes a Republican, somebody else likes a Democrat. Who cares? All I'm saying is, like, that's what we're going through right now. So when are we going to get to the end of this wave 5? Who knows? I don't know, because I don't know how big of a dog and pony show we're going through. But I also am not an idiot. Like, I'm also not unaware that this could have secretly put in a topping reversal on us, with us just hoping crypto is going to be so big. And then if this breaks down instead of breaking out, look at all that massive liquidity and look at the target. Because if it actually went down there, that would be our worst case scenario we've talked about since 2021 after we went back to bear market. That we would have this bear market rally of all bear market rallies, even though it's a bull market. And it'd be the biggest rug pull in the history of crypto. And the only way that makes sense is if they're going to try to get rid of 99% of crypto. It is a massive way to lose credibility. But I know he knew what he was doing, and I actually forewarned everybody when that started happening, and I got pissed live on air, and everybody said that I needed to calm down because it's politics, and I said, this isn't politics. This is going to ruin utility for a little bit, because money doesn't just leave and go to money heaven. It leaves an asset to go to another class. Well, in this case, it left utility to go to speculation and memes. And when it goes to memes, we all lose, because eventually the meme provider rug pulls everybody. 1% of the people who invest in the meme make money. 99% goes to the creator. Anybody want to speculate? Remember GOAT token that all of you in my audience told us all to sell XRP to buy? It's a dime a dozen, folks. These are all the same. They look good. They're to take you out of your traditional investment. And the design of them, I think the design of them are much like a lottery ticket. You buy a lottery ticket, you pull the slot machine, you make a bet on a sports game for the illusion of I can turn 100 into 300 or 500 or 1,000 on the spot. But not understanding the majority or likelihood is I'm just going to lose that $100. It's the same thing with meme tokens. You got an investment going with utility like XRP for 2 years on a bear market floor, but then we just sell out of it to buy the GOAT token because supposedly it's just the meme on the XRP. It was the whole big joke. Now it's at 12 cents. Anybody here? Is there anybody here? And I made it very clear that I would try to buy the GOAT token probably when it came down either to the bottom of this area or if it just fell out and came to 2 cents. Well, then I might be a buyer. And I told the story of the GOAT token. I could have promoted it and got 100,000 tokens. It was a big, crazy thing. But it is addictive. That's the whole point of meme tokens. It's the attraction that I can make all this money in such a short amount of time. It is. We got a lot of work to go through, but I got to go, guys. My son's got therapy coming up soon. I spent all the time I could. I hope this made sense. And if you got anything out of this, you know, don't be fooled. We're coming at a lot of this from the top side. The biggest component here, if you don't even watch XRP. If you want to know what's really going to happen, start learning about the XRP Bitcoin pairing like I tell you, and I'm trying to teach. The XRP Bitcoin pairing is speaking to something that's about to be massive compared to Bitcoin. As long as we don't give this back and this Goldencross holds, all the world's congratulations. I could say that with any meme token. That's the point. A small percentage of you make gain, but 99% of you lose. And now next time you're probably going to sell out of something and say, hey, with that Trump token, I made a 3x real quick and sold out because I'm smart, or 2.5 times because I'm smarter than everybody else in the room. But keep doing that, and eventually you're going to be that guy who buys in and you lose 85% of what you thought was easy. Didn't say you can't make money off of meme tokens. But you always get the stories. How many of you are going to share the token that you bought and you didn't make double? Because both of you just said you made money on Trump token. I 100% guarantee with no unequivocal uncertainty that you've lost money in memes the exact same you just made. If not, way worse. Or you may have learned now, but you've paid the price in memes to make that profit. Because you have to learn in order to be able to do good at it. But, you know, I'm trying to teach good principles. I want people to buy utility, not shit. So congratulations on making 1, 2, 3x. And I hope in the future you're able to hold those holdings in meme tokens. That's all. Because once you start to do the memes your biggest loss is XRP right now. Well, that's just not understanding the market. That's not XRP's fault. You bought in a bull market. That's no offense, but you just were uneducated coming into the market. We've all been there. I was there before. We've all been there. That's why I've told my audience since this rally started, I'm not buying it. I wouldn't advise my audience to buy on a pump. Until it comes back down and retraces at 91 cents at that fair value gap, this is a pump. Because that gap still sits there, which means it can still come all the way back down there. But, you know, it's fair. It's fair. I could have bought the Trump token at $17 or $21 when it got listed. Or $17. I seen it sitting there, and I could see it was going to go up. But it drove me so insane that utility was about to take a dive because of what was about to happen that I don't support that stuff, man. I just don't support that stuff. I don't waste my time. That's why I don't look at the meme tokens usually. I don't waste my time with it. But I've wasted my time with this every day and twice on Sunday, but I do have to go. But the last thing I want to draw out is consider this. Right? I mean, you could be building massive fundamentals here. We just don't see it yet. So we'll see what happens. Have a blessed day, everybody, and to each their own. And, you know, humble and humility. Be humble. Show humility. Don't give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.